wanted to try something a little bit different today. You might hear some noises in the background or the surroundings, but I have a lot of downtime where I'm working on other things, and at the same time I still have things I want to talk about, ideas that I want to get out there. And while I'm just cleaning my apartment, making food, doing dishes, I have things that I think about and stuff that I want to talk about, but I just never really recorded it, and I have a really complicated setup to where now I actually have my headphones connected to my phone via Bluetooth. I also have a lavalier mic attached to the phone, and I am able to either hear myself through the headphones as I'm speaking, or I can have music or sounds or whatever playing through the headphones separately from what I'm saying into the phone, so it keeps the audio separate. And then I also have to where if I want to, my phone is Bluetooth tethered to my MP3 player on top of that. But it was a really complicated setup to do that. I had to figure out how to finally get rid of the buzzing noise that my phone was making while I was doing recordings. And it was something as simple as changing the default setting for the microphone recording to another one on the 3.5 input from the lavalier mic. But anyways, I want to talk about when there's things that you want to do in life or you want to become a certain type of person. And I think the idea that people have by becoming something is this idea in the future of this person that they're going to mold themselves into. And they often get caught up in all the ideas and all the opinions of other people about how they should be, who they should be, who their friends should be, and what they should be doing. And I noticed that a lot of people don't seem to go about life doing things that they enjoy from the perspective of understanding who they are or understanding why they're in the position that they are in their life. And they end up having to let the people around them or the world around them decide what it is that's going to make them happy. And they kind of get lost, not really sure about what job to take, about who their friends should be, whether or not they should follow a certain passion or a certain hobby. And then after a while, they kind of just get lost, and then they look back on it and think, I miss the good old days of who I used to be and what I was. Then you start having some nostalgia, things that have happened. You think about the good days of when you were a better person, and you have to separate the idea of what other people want you to be from who you truly are and what you want to really be based on your own opinions. You have to form your own opinions of yourself and who you are, and stop looking outward, externally, at everybody around you and everything. Because there's going to be times in life to where things get difficult, and you might not always have someone there to help you. And you're going to have to rely on yourself to get through that time. And it's these moments that we have to look back and reflect on it to remind ourselves of why we got into this position in the first place, and why it was that we let other people determine the outcome of our life and to make decisions for us. When I look back on who I used to be, some of the choices that I've made in my life, I'm not happy with some of them, but I don't dwell on those choices or let the choices of the past completely define and determine everything that I'm going to do in the future. I don't let that stop me from trying to improve or to be happy. And most of all, I try to not let who I used to be influence who I'm going to be tomorrow. We're always getting caught up in other people's problems, getting caught up in what they're doing, and we just lose sight of who we are. We lose touch of what we want to do. And I noticed that when people drag you into their own problems like that to solve everything for them, they're not in touch with who they are. They've let this happen to them as well, and they're going through life trying to figure it all out, but they're just looking externally, and then they attach themselves to you to try to be a better person. But this better person and this perspective that they have of this ideal figure that they see in their mind has all been shaped and molded and sculptured by people around them. And they just don't know what they want. They don't know what makes them happy. They have things they used to do that they enjoyed. They might have had a hobby. Maybe they played the guitar. Maybe they used to play video games and enjoy the aspect of maybe creating something or playing as a character. And then they just sit there and think, whatever happened to that? And how did I get here? How did I get so lost in that? And then we try to find things to fill that void. We try to make new hobbies and we lose interest in it quickly. We try to make new friends. We try to do everything we can to replace that emptiness that you feel that was once there. To try to replace all those thoughts and feelings of who you once were as you keep going through life, trying to mold and shape yourself into something that you were trying to make out of the opinions of everybody else. But who were you before? Were you somebody that was defined by your own opinions and your own outlook? Or was it just shaped by the people around you? I think that some of us, when we look back on it and we miss who we once were, is because we were happy just being ourselves. When you look back in your childhood and you think about all the things that you did and all the things that you enjoyed and you were just carefree and just having fun in the moment, you weren't worried about what everybody thought of you. You weren't worried about whether or not you made everybody else around you happy or whether or not you made them like you as a person, whether or not you were part of their group or part of their whole group of friends, and you weren't worried about all these external things and trying to have an image that you build up. And that's another thing when it comes to, we build this image inside of our head that we think we are, and we try to project that outward to the world around us to try to live up to that. We get narrow-minded and think that we have to only be that one thing. You might be an artist, or you might have another creative hobby, and you think that that's the only thing that you can do. And you get really just set in a path, and you get this tunnel vision thinking that you can't do anything else. And when you try to do something else, people tell you, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? That's not you. And those same people are trying to attach this image they see of you and attach themselves to it because they don't have anything to attach themselves to reflect on themselves. So they have to attach to everything externally rather than looking inward and knowing themselves. I've gotten caught up in some of that throughout my life, worrying about if people had a certain belief about me or their opinions of me, whether or not I lived up to their expectations of what they thought was a good person, or the expectations of being, this person that was fitting of that image, that was fulfilling this idea and this whole fantasy of who they see me as. I mean, do you really want to live your whole life only for other people, or to only live it as if the whole point of being happy is to try to live up to this image that you build up inside of your head of who you're supposed to be? You think to yourself, if only one day I am this, then I will be happy. Well, once you finally get to this idea, this image that you built up in your head of this person that's going to be you, what do you have after that? If you're not going through to learn from the experiences and learn from what you're doing along the way. I mean, you have to try to hold frame, maintain structure, and always stay as that person. You never think outside the box or be any difference. And the people around you in the world is going to want you to be that one person. If you're an artist, they say, hey, you can only be an artist, don't try anything else. If you're a musician, they tell you, hey, you can only produce music, don't try to create anything else. And we often put ourselves in these groups and collections of ideas of people that we try to structure and to try to organize everything to understand the world. We get very narrow-sighted in everything. We try to see things as a label, as one thing, and that it can't be anything else. And this plays out in other areas of life, in other areas of society, and everything else that we're doing. We get narrow-minded, completely narrow-sighted, and think that everything has to be one thing. It's all in or nothing else. And that type of mindset's going to set you up for failure. What is failure to you anyways? Is it not living up to that person that you put in your head that you want to be? Is it not living up to the expectations of other people? Or is failure, does it mean to you letting go of who you are, letting go of understanding yourself, to let others define you, and to let others make you into this person that they see fit, that suits them for their life, that they have to attach themselves on and rely on because they've lost touch of themselves. They've lost touch of what makes them wake up every morning and keep doing the things that they do. So why do you wake up every morning and do what you do? Do you do it for yourself? Do you do it because it's what makes you happy? Does it give your life meaning and a purpose? And is that meaning and purpose because of what you want to do or because of other people? We can all be so similar in so many ways and yet be so divided in such simple things. And these simple things that may divide us has a domino effect. It continues to build up and separate us from each other, become closed off, and we lose touch. of ourselves. If you're an introverted person or an extroverted person, this could be bad for both, because the extroverted person will have to rely on external things to try to figure out who they are, while the person that's introverted, although may reflect more on who they are, might get caught up in trying to replace these things that define who they are, rather than attaching it to other people. They might attach it to things, objects, or maybe a hobby or something that's not good for them. Something that's not doing them any good, but is only causing them harm. So what is it that makes you do what you do? Why do you do the things that you do every morning as you go throughout your day? Take some time to think about it. There's no rush. After all, many good things that are really important aren't decided so quickly. Sometimes you just have to take a deep breath, sit down, and really think about it. Figure yourself out. Figure out what you want in life and what you want out of life. You get out of life what you put into it. And if you're letting others put into it only, they're going to keep filling it with the wrong things. And you're going to get completely lost and lose touch of who you are.